Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Here's a very simple experiment that anyone with a decent drone and a video camera can do to see if they can actually measure any curvature across the surface of water, whether it is a lake or the sea, rather than looking up at the sun, moon and stars and claiming that that is somehow proof that we are on a spinning ball Earth. Put the camera on a tripod and have it looking across the water into the distance. Make sure it is level. Ironically, when you do so, the horizon will also be at eye level. You could set up the camera on the shoreline or on a jetty, but this would make the camera's eye level only about 2 or so meters above the surface in front of you. And we know from experience by now that when filming across the water at a low level, we get all kinds of distortion at the horizon and across the surface and in the sky. So in order to try and avoid or eliminate that, it's best to get a high vantage point and let the drone tell you when it's at the camera's eye level how high above the surface it is just in front of you. Having a good camera on the drone will also be advantageous to the experiment. Make sure the camera can be fixed in a horizontal position, facing forwards as the drone flies off, staying level with the camera's eye level on the shore. So if in fact the horizon is a bulge of geographical or physical curvature on a spherical Earth, rather than being the result of perspective when looking across a flat surface, then of course we should see the horizon in the drone's camera drop away as it continues in a straight horizontal line parallel with the observer on the beach. As you can see, the horizon is at the camera's eye level. It's only when something is higher than our eye level and goes off into the distance does it appear to sink towards the horizon. Likewise, something lower than our eye level that goes off into the distance will appear to rise towards the horizon. The main thing here that flat earthers see and globe defenders pretend not to see is the disparity or discrepancy between the side-on or external view we have of the photographer looking across the surface and the actual view of the observer, where the surface and the sky appear to meet at the observer's eye level. So if, for example, the camera's eye level is 2 meters above the surface immediately in front of it, it's easily illustrated with this side-on view of the scenario. But when we try to illustrate this 2-meter height above the surface for the camera or from the observer's perspective, we end up with a horizon in front of us that appears to be 2 meters high as well. But no matter how high we go, the horizon will always be at our eye level if we are looking straight ahead. So of course this illustration of the height from the surface to the horizon in the observer's 3D perspective simply cannot and does not fit with the external frame of reference we are commonly given in order to create the mathematical model. Send the drone off into the distance towards the horizon, keeping it at the camera's eye level so we know it is going in a straight line, and we should, after only a few kilometers, see an increase in the drone's altitude even though it is flying in a straight line, if in fact we are flying the drone above a curved surface. By flying just 5 kilometers in a straight line, we should see curvature or extra altitude of nearly 2 meters above the surface. To be truly scientific about this experiment, we'll have to take into account a number of variables, such as the wave height further out, and will that moving surface and maybe higher waves be disrupting the altitude readings of the drone. Refraction, a favorite argument of globe defenders, must be taken into account, so height and visibility is important. But it's a simple and fairly straightforward experiment that any globe Earth defender could have and should have done by now to set out to prove that there is measurable curvature on the actual surface of the Earth. rather than looking up at star trails and sunsets and claiming that that's due to us being on a spherical Earth. So I look forward to seeing these experiments being done all across the Earth with results that are repeatable and consistent with the geometry of the globe Earth model. And I may well come to believe eventually that there is such a thing as bendy water. Thank you very much.